Hello, hello, hello.
Putting mics.
Hello.
Putting mics.
It's got the Howard Cosell vibe, you know?
Michael, yeah. Hey, this is Nick Noble reporting for Smartpunk Live from Riot Fest Chicago, and I'm here with Karl Alvarez from the Descendents.
How you guys doing?
Yeah. Sorry I started there. I'm a little just taken back. I hate to completely fanboy out on you now or ever, but I play bass, so I look up to you as a...
So you understand my pain?
I understand, and I feel like a lot of people, non-bass players, don't understand.
Yeah, well, it's an easy thing to joke about, but you need it. You need bass. Someone's got to shovel snow.
You definitely need bass.
Yeah.
Your bass lines are all over the place, chaotic and perfect at the same time.
But with Descendents, that was always there.
Yeah.
That was, to be fair, Tony Lombardo was the guy who brought that stuff to the table.
Yeah.
You know, we brought him back a couple of years ago to do the Milo Goes to College album.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just as a guy who was a fan, it mattered a lot to me to be able to watch Tony.
That's so cool.
Who's in his 60s now, you know.
Yeah.
To be able to watch him play in front of a huge crowd, because when he left the band, it was like, you know, maybe 300 people.
He played live?
At most, yeah. We got him out for a Riot Fest in Denver.
Wow.
To do a whole set. And I was, the fan in me was just, you know, totally smiling.
That's awesome, man. So speaking on that, do you have anyone other than him that you look up to as a bass player?
There's the obvious ones. I mean, Chuck Dukowski was a real early influence on, almost like on a level of like more attitude than the actual sound.
Sure.
Because he was so aggressive, just amazing. And he's a very nice guy, and he actually took time to talk to me about bass when I was young.
That's awesome.
Mike Watt is another one from the Minutemen, and he was another one who took, you know, and these are just the older guys. Now there's this, it's funny, a friend of mine's son, Benicio, is 16 years old, and he plays my parts better than I do. So I've got eyes for him, you know, the next generation. I'm going to see what happens with those guys.
That's awesome. I actually, I had the chance to speak to Chris from the Meat Puppets yesterday.
Oh, yeah,
he
right.
mentioned both
Speaking
those
of
bass
influences,
players.
yeah, right. Chris is,
and he also plays with his nephew now. Elmo's the other guitarist of Meat Puppets. So no,
Chris is underrated.
Yeah.
He's a very underrated player.
I agree. He's also spastic, but perfectly in the pocket and just kind of shreds on it.
And some of the songs on Too High to Die, the songs he wrote are some of my favorite ones on that one.
Too High to Die is amazing. And Monsters, of course.
Oh, yeah.
The way that album just starts off with like the heavy chugging.
It's monster indeed.
Yeah. It's kind of let out of the bottle.
Yeah. No, I'm an avid Meat Puppets guy. Like I love that band.
Good. Yeah, I mean everyone should be. Everyone that isn't just hasn't listened to the whole discography.
Well, you're allowed to not like them record to record, because every record's different.
Yeah, very different.
You know, you're allowed to.
Very, very different.
Kind of like TSOL, they're the same thing.
Yeah.
Every record's different, so you're allowed to like each record on its own merits.
Yeah.
You know.
So back to the Descendents and the revival. Everyone that I know loved Filmage and followed that, and then was so excited because Filmage happened, and everyone kind of got the idea of what happened with Descendents, what happened with All, and why there was a lull, and I feel
or
like
several.
Yeah. I feel like everyone kind of had to open up their hearts a little more to understand what you guys were going through, because obviously there's more than a drummer. There's a friend. There's a songwriter.
Yeah, and there's a lot of time to be covered too, you know, because I think that's, weirdly enough, that's kind of why that documentary to me works, because it covers an awful lot.
It definitely does.
Like from the death of the 70s all the way to the present day, there's, something was going on with this band.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So what do you think about the evolution of the band and even All over time with the internet kind of being interjected into the music scene? Obviously, record labels took a dive.
Well, you know, obviously we picked the band name All long before the internet, because honestly, who would pick
Google
that?
search.
It's a bad Google search.
Yeah.
But once, you know, you clarify for that, it's okay. And I like the instantaneousness of internet stuff.
Definitely.
You know, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I guess the one thing that I maybe miss with music and that being disseminated over the internet is you used to go to the record store, or whatever shitty record store handled this stuff, and there'd be a whole rack of magazines and zines, and that's how you'd find out about the records, go through the stacks, and that's where you'd usually meet the people that you'd end up playing in a band with. You know, it was like maybe like an online chat room's the same thing, but it's not as direct. Because they're not, you know, they're all people, you know, for example, in your zip code.
Right, and you don't know who you're talking to.
Yeah, and it was a great crucible to create good music, was to have these weird record stores where it was the only place you could find out about this stuff. Because our stuff, you know, the whole American punk rock, hardcore, whatever you want to call it, was so underground for so long. You know, it took till 91 or 92 before anyone in the mainstream thought it had value of any kind.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, I spoke with Fat Mike, and he harked on the quote that I heard from another interview where he was speaking, and he said before Nirvana, no one had a chance. No one in punk had a chance.
No, none of us.
They had to break down.
No, it was a gig-to-gig affair, largely, for a lot of bands I knew. You know?
And I also feel like that, like you said, zines and everything, especially when the internet kind of first came out and affected the music scene, physical art with artists, with music kind of took a dive because everything was online and digital, and we didn't need to hold things. But I'm glad to see kind of a revival of vinyl coming back, and a revival of zines.
Yeah, and with vinyl, it's kind of easy for me. This is going to be a little anthropological. But look, there's something I know about human beings. We like big, shiny things. And we like owning big, shiny things. And a download isn't a big, shiny thing. A record is a big, shiny thing. We're like magpies, man. We really like it. You know?
We're attracted to
big, shiny things. And a record's a great, big, shiny thing.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It's a new, big, shiny thing. The new Descendents record.
Yeah, it's a shiny thing, isn't it?
It's so cool. I know that when the first single came out, just listening to the you rip on bass, that opening was so exciting for me.
Well, you know, it's a basic 3/4 kind of song, you know, and so it calls for a little bit more illustration, maybe on the part of the bass, because in our band, when you've got like the guitar doing basically full chord downstrokes and stuff, it gives a lot of room for the bass to do stuff that maybe in another band, maybe a piano would do, or what a horn section would do,
to bounce around a
and
little
it's
bit.
And it's sort of like I said, it was a style of the band long before I was involved. I just had a long time to work on it, I guess. You know,
it's so cool though, because right when that rips in, I think everyone just immediately, like the internet exploded, and everyone was like, "Descendents are back."
Yeah, it's recognizable, right? It's like, you know that thing.
Yeah,
you know.
it's cool.
And
to
as a
be
bass
you.
player, there's something really fearless about Tony, because he wasn't afraid to operate in the high registers. It didn't matter, because at least in the old days, Frank was mashing down so hard on the guitar. It didn't matter. It was still heavy. You know.
There's that, and then I mean, any bass player needs a good drummer, and good drummer is the smallest, tiny little underling of what I can call.
Yeah, and you know the thing about it, maybe this is telling tales out of school more than I should, but you know, Bill has never stopped since I started working with him, presumably before that, never stopped trying to get better. Like, that's a huge part of it. What that guy's capable of is he never sat back on his laurels and said, "Aren't I bitching? I'm a great drummer." He's every year I've worked with him, he's you know, whether it's making yourself work with metronomes so your timing is good, whether it's working on fundamentals, whether it's even doing research academically to find out where beats come from.
That's so cool.
A lot of them are African. But you know,
that's where all the weirdest timings come in.
Where the drum comes from, really. It's the cradle of civilization, you know,
where everything comes from life.
But he actually does the homework, and he's tried to make himself better over the years. It's very easy to get content when you're in your 20s and everyone's telling you you're cool. I've only, look, my technique sucks. I've only gotten a handle on technique over the last 5 years. Like, I was too busy.
That's hard to believe.
Well, you know the story of how I started playing, right?
Of how you did?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, I was the guy drawing flyers for Stefan's band, the Massacre guys, and their bass player quit, and I was just the guy in the room. And so, okay, he can probably play bass. Here's 16 songs. We have a gig with the Dead Kennedys coming up. And so I learned the songs and did the thing. And ever since then, it's been getting ready for the next gig or the next record, really. And so, okay, I got out of that one without embarrassing myself. Okay, here, now I'll learn a bunch of new stuff.
What year was that?
God, I want to say 1983.
So every gig since 1983.
Yeah, I've just been trying to learn every step of the way. It's like I'm the on-the-job on-the-job guy.
Yeah.
Like I'm the on-the-job training bass player.
Does Bill push everyone in the band to be better?
I think
just like
we're just all that way. I think we've always all been. Well, the notion of all means that you're always questing for more because there's always more there.
Yeah, giving all.
And you're never going to get it because there's more.
Yeah.
And so I think Stefan's that way. We're all constantly trying to learn new ways to do the thing.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Descendents, there are certain things we know are the ways you do the thing for this band.
So, on Descendents and recording, obviously you guys have an amazing home base and full control of everything that you guys do, full control of sound, an amazing engineer to work with that's kind of within the band. Can you picture Descendents going somewhere else or ever having to do something else, like Descendents without the blasting room or without... What would life without that be?
Well, I mean, without the blasting room would be pretty much like it was before the blasting room, where we shell out a ton of money to a studio.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what that impact would be. Our sound man, Andrew, like you said, he's part of the band now. He's pretty much in there.
Sure.
And we've done tours without him and shows without him, but I'd prefer not.
Yeah, of course.
I'd prefer not.
Does he actually do board sound for you guys?
Yeah, he's our live
mixing?
Our live sound engineer, Andrew Shornack. In studio, there's a guy named Jason Livermore, who is equally skilled and also an excellent drummer who used to drum in a band called Wretch Like Me.
Oh, cool.
But he's the secret weapon. Well, the blasting room has no shortage of really good engineers and really good
equipment,
technicians, and so there's a lot of good guys I could throw the shout out. Andrew Berlin, there's all these guys there that I've recorded with, and they're just so much smarter than I am. It's insane.
Is there anyone that's recorded there recently that you've checked out that not a lot of people know about that you?
I haven't been up there in a while. I know Bouncing Souls did a bunch of stuff up there for the last record, but they mixed their new record on their own, which brings us back to the point of pride.
Yeah.
Right? You get to do your own record.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we get to do.
I mean, it's the whole heart of punk is DIY, right?
Oh, yeah,
just like the magazines, just like you meet people.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite record, I guess, that came out of the blasting room that isn't my records, because, you're allowed, is this thing that no longer exists called Audio Karate, a record called Lady Melody. And I put that thing on, and it still kicks my ass.
When was that recorded?
God, when was that? It was like 5-6 years ago or something.
Okay, so...
Look for it online or something. It's
recently.
like, I don't know the deets, but it is one of my favorite things that the studio ever did.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I want to also ask about Milo and first contact, him coming back in the band. There was a certain amount of time that he was obviously chasing science, chasing all science. And I heard he was just recently laid off right before coming out here.
Yeah,
right?
but we've been working with him for the last 5 years or so on his weekends and his vacation time.
What was first contact with Milo to restart before Cool to Be You?
Oh, it was we got an offer out of the blue to play Fun Fest down in Austin because Devo bowed out, and we were the replacement guys for Devo. Wow. So I think that was the goad that that we got to replace Devo. We played Uncontrollable Urge, but that was the first show we had done in a long time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it a simple phone call? Did someone?
Yeah, no, we're always in touch. I mean, Bill and Milo are best friends. They're always in touch with each other. And
cool.
When Bill and I were doing the Lemonheads, Milo came out to our show out near where he was at and just demolished an Angry Samoan song on our stage.
That's cool.
It was amazing.
That's awesome.
So yeah, we still see each other. Even when Milo's not singing for us, he's still around.
Yeah.
It's same with Chad Price.
That's what every Descendents fan.
Same with Chad Price. Same with Scott Reynolds. They're all they're all in there. It's just not with us at the moment.
Yeah. That's cool. That's again heartwarming to hear that everyone keeps in contact. So again, thank you very much.
Oh, no problem,
I've got like 20 years of questions to ask you.
Well, I'll be around, but I got to go get something to eat because I'm going to fall over.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you have a signing in like 10 minutes.
I know, huh?
Yeah, I appreciate it, Karl. Have a good day. This is Nick Noble with Smartpunk Live. That was amazing. Sign off.